My name is Jeff Sullivan, and I'm with IBM Systems and Technology Lab Services and Training. Today, I'm going to talk about DB2 data sharing and how to set up a DB2 data sharing environment. But before we go there, let's first of all just define a few things here. The first is what is DB2 data sharing? Well, DB2 data sharing by definition is the ability for an application to be able to read and write to the same data. And in order to have a DB2 data sharing environment, you need to have a parallel sysplex environment set up. So parallel sysplex, let's define that. And that is a group of ZOS systems that communicate together by way of both a timer, so that way you can have a common timing mechanism involved. They call that the sysplex timer, by the way, as well as having a coupling facility that would be able to communicate between the ZOS systems. So, why DB2 data sharing? Why would you necessarily use it? What is it used for? Well, the main reason why people use data sharing, why people go to a DB2 data sharing environment, is mainly because they outgrow their current system. And one of the common things that you'll sometimes see as a cure before you see data sharing is applications, people will say, well, why don't we split the data between two different tables? So they might have something where we would have a subsystem and another subsystem. So we will call this subsystem A, and we'll have another one over here that would be subsystem B. And what they'll do is they'll replicate a, now I'm going to be very simple about this, I'm just going to write a table within the subsystem, and I'm going to have another table over here. What they will do is they'll write some sort of code that would copy data from this table into this table. So that way what you're effectively doing is you're increasing the ability of applications to be able to go at this. So now I can have more applications over here that would then be able to communicate with this, and the same thing over here. Well, you can already see kind of some of the issues that are associated with this. One is that you have to get this data copied over. Nobody wants to write those sorts of interfaces or application things. There was also log mirroring and all the other things that you can do in here, and that's really just kind of a little bit of a pain. So it's usually a little bit better to do a data sharing environment for this particular thing. Second is the high availability aspect. What this allows for is continuous operation. So what you can actually now do is, instead of having a single subsystem over here, what I can now do is I can have on multiple members. And so let's redraw this as if we've got a data sharing environment. So what a data sharing environment would look like, and this will be just a very quick diagram. We're going to delve into this a little bit deeper here later here in the next video. But what we would have is we could set up two LPARs, and we would then have DB2 subsystems within this. Now, because of the fact that we are in a data sharing environment, which means that data is shared, as we said, by definition, we can now have the data that's viewed from both sides. Now, all the synchronization that occurs in here is all done by way of the coupling facility. There are three structures that go in this, and we'll go into this a little bit more in detail. But there is a group buffer pool, there's a lock structure, and then there is a common work area. And again, we'll get into some of the things that deal with this. Finally, of course, with this, because this subsystem and this subsystem over here, which in a data sharing environment, we refer to these as members, they have their own logging. So whenever you do that, and you have this over here, you have to be able to coordinate the timing in this, which means that you now have a sysplex timer. And that keeps all of this stuff all in tune, so that way we keep the logging in